your mind changes, your life will never change.
Did you know that your thoughts hold the master key to the life that you desire? Just think about it. If you want to change your life, you must change the way you think. Did you also know that experience is not the best teacher, but wisdom is?
I am so excited to be bringing to you my latest book. I'm calling it Think on These Things.
In his new book, Bishop Allen has put together a collection of power thoughts, insights, perspectives, and practical applicable wisdom drawn from his exciting years of experience. Inside the book, you will find deep insights on the power of purpose, integrity, self-leadership, excellence, the power of the mind, among others.
Truth is a universal commodity. Wherever it is applied, it produces the same results.
Compared to the life I used to live here is a whole different ballgame, because like the depression that I went through is like a whole it's higher because first of all of my talent, and then on top of that, like, people really judged me just the way I looked. Like, they would assume things that weren't really true. So like the reason I even wanted to do this was to help people out and give them a solution of the way to actually figure their own way of figuring out how to deal with this depression. Because what's happening is a lot of people don't have the support system. Like, they go through it, but then they don't have the support system like I did. So like, different things would like help you out. But for me personally, why I went through it is because people looked at me in a different way than I normally looked at myself. So it really lowered my self-esteem, and that put me in depression. Yeah.
Don't let what you've done hinder you. Don't you let where you've been hinder you. Don't let what they've said hinder you. Don't you let your past hinder you. You're a woman without limits. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Woman without limits. Yes, you are. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. You're a woman without limits. Woman, 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 woman without limits. Na 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 na. Woman without limits.
Good evening, viewers. You are welcome to Woman Without Limits. We started this program last week, and I brought my own son, and we were able to really just go into depth and understand where he's coming from, and let you know that you cannot deal with that issue by yourself. You can come out of anything, whether it's depression, trauma, whatever it is that you're going through. We also have an amazing woman, Dr. Susan, who's been tremendous in her help, in her counseling. She deals with trauma, depression. You don't need to wallow in self-pity. You don't need to die in that quagmire. I tell you, watch this program, and I know that the Lord is going to bless you. This is Woman Without Limits. So 3 weeks have gone. You call me and you tell me, Mom, I don't have even one friend. What did I tell you?
I remember this clearly. It's crazy because it's been 4 years. I graduated recently out of high school. So it's been 4 years. So I call Mom, and she tells me, Jay, this is not you. You're not that type of person. And she says it in such an attitude, but like, she's like concerned, but also like she knows me from day one. So she's not that type of person. Go make friends. So at the time, I was in a wheelchair at the time. I was in a wheelchair. So
because he had just gone through an operation.
Yeah.
Just did an operation, so he was still on a wheelchair, coming out of that operation.
Yeah. So at the time, I'm in a wheelchair. After 2 operations, got back. I'm back to school. So I'm in a wheelchair, and I turn around, and I see the table where everybody's at. So I'm like...
Okay, maybe they didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Because I said, Jeremy, that's not you. You're not that kind of person. Go make friends. Don't sit and wait for somebody to come. Go yourself. What is this? You're not a loner. You're not a... Because Jeremy's like me. He's a talkative person. He'll make friends with anybody. What? This boy, he'll make friends with anybody. I said, Jeremy, get out of there. You're not that kind of a person.
Yes.
The devil is a lie. Get up and go make friends. Guess? Woman without limits. What are you talking about? Did you make or not?
I did. I did that day actually. So I saw, I went with my wheelchair and I saw the table where people were sitting, like everybody, not like this was certain people, this was certain people. And I made friends with the most popular people in the school. And that's when I became popular. And it just grew from there. And I started to actually start liking high school.
And there was struggle. So he started liking high school and, he started getting friends around him. But then still others would come and try to really oppress you.
Yeah, so, because I had a surgery, right? I used to work out every day. I woke up 5:30 every morning, get ready, go to the gym, work out. After the gym, I go back to PT, working PT every day. So I used to work out, let's say, if you think you work out 4 times harder, I would work out 4 times harder than that.
Even now.
Like even
Johnny
now,
has to
I
work
still,
out 4 times harder than we do. Yeah.
So I work out 4 times. That's because of my, challenge. It's cerebral palsy makes you work out more. So I used to work out a lot. So when people used to try to like oppress me, I used to get in the spirit of, all right, let's fight. Like you trying to fight, you trying to beef. Like that's just how it is. Like for me, as you know. But then I started to grow. I was like, nah, let's just talk about it. Like what is the problem? Because a lot of people who talk to you in a certain way or approach you in a negative way are going through something in their own life. So you start
Did you
to
hear
realize,
that? They are going through something in their own life. So I used to tell Jeremy, don't make their problem your problem. If somebody has a problem, that's their problem. Don't carry it and make it your problem. And then about the what you say that I said to you that has kept you going all through.
You've said a lot of things that have
The
kept me
10%.
going. But mostly she said 10% is what people do to you. 90% is your reaction. I've never forgotten that. Even before she said it to church, she said it to me. So, like
Say
that's
that. Would you say that slowly and surely?
10% is what people do to you. 90% is how you react.
Do you see? So what people do to you is only 10%.
Yeah.
Your reaction is 90%. So God has given you so much more to work with. So I tell Jeremy, so what if somebody looks at you? So what? Don't make it your problem. That's their problem.
Yeah.
They are the ones who are busy looking at you. They are not doing their stuff. If somebody is busy doing their life, they are not going to be staring at you because of anything.
So, yeah, so my reaction was what mattered. At first, I would normally get to like anger. I would just be like, let me just be angry and fight you. But then I realized I'm not that type of person. So I'm just like, nah, I'm just going to talk to them. I talk to them and we become, like there were a lot of people who were about to fight me, but at the end of the school year, we were best of friends. Like there were a lot of people that became close friends just because they realized there's something about, talking and being friends and just being positive.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's always been my like go-to moment. Like, all right, let me just, because 90% is my reaction, 10% is what they do to me. I have to always tell myself that because, I don't want to get this spirit of anger. I just want to be positive and do what's right, kind of. Yeah.
So Jeremy, somebody that's going through the kind of situation that you're in, what would you advise them?
There's a lot I would tell you, but mostly I would tell you just be real, be yourself. Don't care about what people tell you. Never care about what people tell you. Just be you. Because at the end of the day, you're just like me. We're just humans. We're just normal. We do us, Like, it's nothing different, nothing changing. Just be 100. Be 100%. Yeah, that's what I would tell them.
Wow. Jay, before we call Dr. Susan, because we're calling her in just a minute, you love rapping. You love rapping. Jeremy's a musician. He loves, yeah. He has done an amazing song that he's about to release. Yeah. So he's going to do a video of it and he's going to release it. Amazing. He's a rappist and does an amazing job. Yeah. So, Jay, you love rapping?
Yeah, I love rapping. Mostly when I started doing music, I was singing at the beginning because I was 9. You know, when I came to Mom, I was like, Mom, I can sing. And she was like, okay. Because to Mom, singing is very important. She takes music very important. So, like, I was like, okay, sing for me. So I sing for her. I wasn't as good as I should have been. So, like, I thought I was, like, perfect. I thought I was
I'm going to
good.
find that clip and we'll play it on this program. He was 9. After I'm going to rap and then I'm going to be famous and I'm going to go to Miami. It was this little midget. And I'll be very famous. I'll be like Lecrae. And oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm going to play that, yeah.
Yeah, so I stopped rapping for a long time. Because in the beginning, I started singing, so I thought singing was my thing. I went for lessons. I started working on instruments. I started doing different things just to become a singer.
So, Jay, the other day, okay.
Yeah. So, when I started singing, and then my friend Darian, the guy who brought me to Atlanta, and said I should come. So we started rapping in the car. Just we call them ciphers. So a cipher is something you just play a beat and you rap off the top of your head. We call them off the top or off the dome, like we say. And start rapping off top. So I start rapping off top, and I start saying different things. And he's like, bro, you can actually rap really well. And I was like, I can? And then, like, that's when it started. Then I started rapping. Then I remember I rapped for Mom. Then she was like, whoa, you can really rap. And then I was like, all right, let me just stick to
like
rapping.
I want you to just rap for 1 minute here before we call Dr. Susan. Rap for just 1 minute, just something.
Alright, I'll mess with this. Alright, whoa, that's really, really loud. Okay.
It's all good.
Alright, yeah. Alright, yeah. Alright, yeah. So I'm a rapper, yeah. No capping, I'm just here to do my thing. I just wanna keep it 100%. I don't go rapping for the people. Yeah, I'm rapping for the simple life. Humble life like mama taught me. I just go humble life. Never stumble in my struggles. Never stumble in my story. Everything I wanna tell the world is real. I know it's glorious. I spit the facts. I never know I got racks. Now I make stacks and chill off the back like a fact. Yeah. Cause when I do it for the people, I go real. Yeah. And when I do it for the people, I just chill. Yeah. Cause every beat I'm on, I just know I can kill. My mama taught me to be better, so I kept it real. I never really did for people, yeah, I kept it chill. I wanna do my own thing, so I know that God go real. God gave me blessings, God gave me things that I love, so I kept it 100. Yeah,
Hey,
I really go for
give
real.
it up for Jay! Hey. That's my boy, y'all. So I'm delighted because today we're going to be talking to Dr. Susan. Dr. Susan is an amazing woman that deals with depression and trauma, and she's doing an amazing work. And so I know that this program is going to absolutely change your lives. None of you will remain depressed in any way, form, or shape. In Jesus' name, put your hands together and let's invite Dr. Susan. Hey. Dr. Sue, you meet your friend again.
Oh, yes. On set.
On set. So, Dr. Susan has actually talked to Jeremy before, and they had an amazing time together until Jeremy said, I want to talk to her again. Because, you know, she's so motherly and so loving. So, Dr. Susan, you deal a lot with depression and trauma. Maybe you can start there and tell us about that.
For the audience, I'm Dr. Susan Gitao, a counseling psychologist consulting for organizations, churches, and individuals that need psychological support. And I teach the same at African Nazarene University, where I believe for Christians, what begins there transforms the world. Depression, I like making it very simple, so that whoever is watching us, listening to us, will start taking steps to healing if they find themselves in one of the situations that could be depressive, that could be traumatic. I would like to say that people that struggle with trauma and depression in a very big way out of my experience in working with them. I'm able to track that it's like a big baby trapped in a man's body, or a big baby trapped in a woman's body.
Wow.
And it's very sad because when parents get their children, they do not know that they have all the power to break or make
Or
that
to
child.
make.
Yes.
You said the child is born
Yes.
and they have nothing.
Nothing. They are so dependent on you, the caregiver, you, the mother, you, the father, if you're there. And what happens is that the first time the child gets out of the mother's womb, the environment is so cold, you know? That's why they cry.
Yeah.
And when they cry, we wrap them, you know, in warm clothing so that they can feel somebody is here. And they start trusting this unfamiliar world. So you can imagine the children that are thrown away,
Right.
the children that cry and the mothers are dead asleep, the fathers run away from the bedroom, and they cannot be there for these children. They start developing mistrust. And when you cannot trust me, how can we work together?
Right.
So the children develop that high level of mistrust, insecure attachment.
Right.
And if this continues through early childhood education centers, it goes on to primary school, senior school, university, even when they start dating and courting, they are still wounded.
Because inside, they are still that little baby
Oh, yes.
trapped in this big body.
Oh, yes.
So to you, they look grown.
Oh, yes.
But inside, they are still that little child.
Beautiful.
And you're telling them to go and take care of a wife.
Imagine.
Can you see drama times 99? Because this is a kid trapped in a man's body.
Oh, yes.
And they are supposed to now come and take care of a wife.
Yes.
Jesus.
And because there's that inner desire to be loved, to get attached to somebody, there is that part of us. You know, think of an onion. The outside part
Right.
is so phobic. It is so fake. It is all facade. And that is the romance period for most people that date. But when reality strikes, or there is a trigger that touches on that wounded inner child, if you're not going to be aware of it, and nobody's helping you to know what the hell is happening to me, you will find somebody that you have not done anything starts fighting you, starts withdrawing from you, starts doing all what you did never expected of them. But this is the child that has come out. It is the wounded child that has come out. So today, as I do my work, I am so focused on parenting.
Right.
I'm so focused on the family system. When I was with Jeremy, as we had our chat, because
Yes.
it was a chat,
Right.
it wasn't a counseling session.
Yes.
Yeah? I could pick from his talk, you know, he kept telling me, if it was not for my parents, I would not be the way I am.
Wow. Hey,
And,
Jay.
and for real, even what you've done today, sharing your story, how many parents
Yeah.
want to share the painful stories in their lives
Right.
with their children?
Right.
How many?
Very few.
Very
Almost
few.
none. Because everybody wants to put up a facade and
Yes,
look
that's what-
nice
that's
in front
it.
of people.
Without knowing
Yeah.
that all of us, we have one or two things, or even more, that we struggle with. But how do you deal with that? How do you deal with it? So I like telling the world that depression, you can create it. You can give it a chance. It is all about you. Because God has given you the brain that helps you to think. And even the Bible says,
Yeah.
so what you think, so you are.
You become.
You
yeah.
become.
Yeah.
So if I start beating myself and say, no, I'm so wounded, you know, I lack this, I lack that, you remain there.
Wow.
So even in the work of depression healing, we have to help you to change your thinking.
Right.
We have to help you to restructure the schemas that you went through in your Early childhood. What did you internalize? Did you internalize I'm unlovable? Did you internalize I am not acceptable? Did you internalize I cannot do it? All the shoulds, all the don'ts, you internalized.
Oh
And I was
my.
very happy when your husband told you,
Yeah.
we're going to release him
Yes.
because we want him to be a man.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was
'Cause-
very happy when Jeremy told me that where he is in Atlanta.
Right.
And I thank God I have been there. It's the cradle of Black history. And I guess that's why I'm saying Jeremy is not yours. Like the Bible says in Colossians 1:16,
He belongs
that
here.
everything has been created
Yeah.
by him, through him, and for
For
him.
him.
Jeremy belongs to the Father.
I'm just a custodian.
Jeremy belongs to the world, and it had to be your husband
Yeah.
taking the position of the head of the family to release. It's, you know, I was looking at Abraham and the son,
Yes.
and I was saying, you know,
Yeah.
the crying,
Yeah.
how? The only one.
Yeah.
That's why he could not talk. But in your case, you two talk.
Right.
So you knew he was actually determined to get Jeremy go
Yeah.
to his destiny.
To his destiny. And I know for sure, Dr. Harry, that if Jeremy didn't go to the States, I know as sure as I'm sitting down
Yeah.
and not standing, he would not be who he is today. Because I would have completely shielded him
Yes.
from any calamity, anybody coming there. What do you want? You know,
That's the matter.
what are you saying? You know, I fought anything that, what? You're trying to put your son down. You know, I mean, I was the warrior. and God was like, I want to work on him.
That's it.
And even now, God always pushes me back and says, no.
It's the
Don't
mother's
move him.
instinct. Yeah.
Don't move him. There is what I'm doing. And he's made him very strong and resilient. Even through all that he's gone through, God has really given him that resilience. So you are saying,
The truth is,
Yeah.
all women have that one hormone in excess, the nurturing hormone, oxytocin. So don't be surprised that you behave that way. Men have limited oxytocin. So at times when they want to think about stuff, it's so objective, the feelings don't have to come in.
right.
Again, what you went through, you never expected. So if it were not for your faith, for the family support, that must have been very traumatizing. That you didn't expect this. And here you're told your child at 3 years has cerebral palsy.
Yes.
And then you're wondering, what's all this?
Please, I hope you know I wasn't just wondering. I was in denial
That's it.
for years. I was cerebral. I couldn't even pronounce it.
And you know now, Jeremy, when he's at Atlanta, he's helping very many children that you don't know because
Yeah.
he works.
Yeah.
He doesn't use your money.
Yeah.
He works
Yeah.
and pays school fees of some children in this country. Jeremy, you are a man. 14 years old.
He's such a giver. Such a giver.
I celebrate your husband.
Yeah.
I celebrate the way he was strong. And for all men that are watching us, just know you're just godly ordained that you take leadership. Because if there is depression in the family, if there is trauma in the family, if we have strong men, strong fathers, strong leaders in nations, it will not be an issue.
Amen.
It will not be an issue.
Yeah.
Because they would know what needs to be done. Because when he was on his own there, of course, he's been having his dreams, his personal dreams. But what depression does, it kills it. If you look at Jeremy, because I want to link depression and what he's shared
Yeah.
about thinking of committing suicide and
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah.
you can get to a level that even if your parents gave you very good nurturing, very good support, the world is not always kind. And so when you're out there like him on his own in the USA, you are far away, miles and miles away in Kenya. It's a new world for him. And there are these people looking at him, some even talking, you know.
Yeah.
The Western community just talks.
Yeah.
I think I talk. For us Africans, we wait.
Yes.
We are saying to someone,
Yeah.
although we use our eyes more and they can also communicate non-verbally.
Right.
And he didn't know. And it does not matter whether he's a bishop's son, first and foremost, he's a human being. Because Jesus Christ, in his humanity, he was also rebellious at some point. And he talks to his parents rudely, as they said. When he said, you did not know I was supposed to be in my father's house.
Yes.
But he was 12, just getting into teenage. So for Jeremy, what I loved most is his realness, his sense of genuineness. And when I track it, it's who you are.
Amen.
Parents know who you are is what you give to your children.
Right.
And when you're real, you have a higher percentage, over 70%, of dealing with any challenge that comes your way. Because you will talk about it.
Wow.
You will share about it.
Yeah.
Irrespective of what people say or think. And what is happening to your brain, you're balancing the two sides of your brain. You know, even if you're a man and you're talking about an issue that you say, oh, women are the ones who talk a lot.
Yeah.
You're actually balancing your brain and you're creating a higher cognitive ability within yourself. So can men talk? Even if you have to talk amongst yourselves.
Just talk.
Just talk.
You see, like 90% was Mama always taught me. Mama always said 10% was people do and 90% is the reaction. So 90% was always what Mom said you should dwell on. Because the 10%, that's not important. The 90%, you know, is what's important. At first, all I would dwell on is violence. Like, all I would say was like, let me just fight him, let me beat him up. Maybe he'll, you know, respect me after that. But then I started to realize that's not a good reaction. Let me be more positive. Let me reach out. Let me be like, let's talk about it. Like, one of the people who used to talk about me now, we're one of the closest, like, is one of my closest friends now. Because, like, we talked about it. You know, he told me he had a lot of family problems, his mom wasn't there often, and, like, it led him to do the things he did. So, for that specific reason, it didn't make him the person he is today. So, like, when I helped him out, it changed him. It made him a better person, a better friend, and also helped him move along with his family and whatever. So, knowledge is power. Pops always taught me that. So, I always kept it 100 in my head. Yeah.
Just imagine a loaf of bread, the sliced one. When you talk, one is gone, another one is gone, right?
Wow.
And at the end of the day, you're talking stories that you're like, oh, she can talk about that.
Yeah.
He can talk about that.
Yeah.
But you have dealt with it.
Yes.
You have a resolution within yourself. You have resolved it. So I'm sure there's so many people wondering, Jeremy is talking.
Yeah.
What? It's because he lives in the States. No. Jeremy has reconciled with himself. And I believe right now we are also touching very many people who are uniquely enabled like him.
I like.
Who are
Uniquely enabled. Yeah.
who are hiding or who are being hidden.
Yeah.
Because we have families that hide them.
Yeah.
Without knowing.
Yeah.
The bigger the challenge that you have in your life, the bigger the calling. Yes.
I say this, and let me say this, Doctor, even as you go on.
Yes.
I know without a shadow of doubt, and I'm saying this on air, and I want it to go all over the world,
Yes.
that Jeremy Waire Kiuna, is going to do more than Bishop and I put together.
That I can
This
believe.
boy,
That I can believe. That
this boy, watch this face.
I couldn't even believe he was 14 years old and he's joining campus. We had a long chat for 2 hours.
18 now. He's 18 years old, that he went at 14.
Yeah, at 14 years.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that he hasn't completed his university course. The reasoning was just too high. The reasoning about so many things. including how different you are from your husband, you know.
Jay, you talked about that. Are you serious right now?
Oh, yes. And he understands good stuff and says, oh, mommy, mommy. And my dad, I like my dad. My dad is a leader, my dad. And I was like, for sure. When I look at what we train in personality temperaments, he is choleric. The drivers, people who set goals and ensure that they achieve them.
Yeah.
So, and we talked a lot.
Wow.
Do you love somebody? We talked about love. So, and it's because that's where he is, and other things that we are continuously talking about.
Right.
In short, what am I saying? Nothing should put you down to a level that you stop living. Depression can stop you living. Trauma can stop you living. And if you do that, you're denying God a chance to showcase himself. And so I would like to let all the people who may be having the signs and symptoms of depression, and I said a simple way of getting it is just like 3 stones or a triangle, that you have negative view of yourself, nothing about yourself is good. You have negative view about others, your mother, your father, your friends. No one is good enough.
Yeah.
The world
Yeah.
is the third one. And the world here includes your purpose in life. You don't see anything good happening. And that is where you find people becoming suicidal. I don't deserve to be here. I'll never make a difference. I will never be somebody. I will never. It's so negative.
Yeah. Right.
And so when you get to a level that you can't fight those negative thoughts, the negative emotions, you reach your end. You just want to leave Earth. And that is why we need to take people very seriously.
Right.
When they write notes, they write messages, they post on Facebook or any other social media platform, run quickly. And don't tempt them. Don't tell them you are not going to be the first one. Because they are waiting for that affirmation. They don't know who they are. So if you dare talk negatively, they will go ahead and
It's a license to them.
It's a license to them. Because they don't even know who they are. You can imagine somebody who wants to take their life. Do they really know who they are at that moment?
No.
They need a voice that is real. They need a voice that is affirming. And right now, as we are talking, we have so many of our young people in secondary schools here in Kenya, in universities, killing themselves. And if you find also majority of them taking drugs, even when they are in the church, I always say, don't give them ultimatum. Don't tell them if you don't change, you get out of my church. Of course, I've seen here you have so many youths, so I know there's something you do for them. They need support. And if you can't give them the spiritual support and they feel it's adequate, this is the time the church must arise and do what you are doing.
Right.
I'm happy with the kind of the counselors you're grooming in your church. And I believe, because very many people go to church every Sunday, when you find them walking in, there's somebody somewhere who is wounded. And they want to get out when they have healed.
Right.
So you can imagine you have so many services on a Sunday. Probably that is the only day they also have to come to church. If there is a counselor on site and you did not do everything that they expected during the service, they would see the counselor. And the church will do what God has called the church to do.
Right.
That heal the person and make them whole.
Right.
Body, mind,
And
spirit.
Yeah.
The soul. And I want to tell people who may not access counseling services, the soul is the strongest part of us.
Talk to us.
That is why if you ever got people in your church from that low brokenness, and today they are different people, and they never went through any psychological support, it is because their soul was empowered.
Right.
So let people know that church is also a big healer. If you tell yourself, I'm going to church, I'm going to get a solution from the church, you have already changed your thinking. When I go there, I'm blessed, you have changed your thinking. So without knowing, you have become your own counselor.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And
Yeah.
when the church gets into the worship mode, you realize everybody starts coming down.
Yeah.
And we are also told God speaks to us through stillness.
Right.
And even in Psalms 46:10, when everything else is broken down, and you're told, stay still and know that I'm
And
God.
know that I am God.
I want to tell everybody that is watching us that may not access the services of a counselor. Learn to have the habit, the lifestyle of spending moments of stillness. And when your soul grows bigger, the rest of you, the body and the mind, takes.
The line up.
Oh, yes.
It lines
You know,
up.
people look at me and they're like, oh, she's a great psychologist. But I want to say it's more of what is in my soul. I have learned to work with that soul. That is the inner you.
Right.
If the inner you is strong, it does not matter whether Jeremy is the
Walking like you and I or
way.
not.
I'm telling you, no way.
That's what I preach to Jeremy. I said,
No
baby,
way.
don't let anybody
yes.
break your inside. Because that's what matters the most.
But majority of people in this world
Are broken.
are broken in the inside.
Yeah.
The soul is either dead or it's very weak.
Do you know the Spirit of God? He spoke to me and he said, these Daughters of Zion convention, I want you to deal with the inner man.
Beautiful.
Because if the inner man is dealt with, we're going to be solid. We're going to be solid.
And for sure, because I am part of this, we will have the practices of strengthening the soul.
Amen.
And we will have that every day.
Yeah.
It's called mindful self-compassion that reminds you I am not alone in this world. It's common humanity. Depression is everywhere.
Yeah.
Trauma is everywhere. There is that part of you that you know deserves kindness.
Yes.
And sometimes the world may not give it to you.
No.
Give it to yourself.
Self.
Right? Because God has given you that ability to give it to yourself.
And those are some of the things, Dr. Susan, you'll be teaching in The Woman Without Limits.
Yes.
I mean, the Daughters of Zion. Can you hear me with Woman Without Limits? That's the show right now. But Daughters of Zion Convention, those are some of the things that we'll be dealing
practical.
with. Practical.
Because I like making it practical so that it can be your lifestyle. And once it becomes your lifestyle, you don't even need our services.
You're
and that's
sorted.
my desire.
Yeah.
That's my desire.
Right.
What can I do? And I believe I take you back where you belong, to your maker.
Right.
And once you're there, in the right position, in the right way,
you're good.
you start also healing others. Look at how many has he touched?
Jeremy, just look at him. And you know, the positivity, you know, and that's all Jeremy preaches. He tells everybody, you better be positive. And then he has such a heart. Jeremy's heart can fit all of us and then some. He has such a big heart. This boy, if I didn't stop him now, he can give everything of his.
I know.
I'm like, Jeremy, I buy those clothes. Hold on. You know, so the other day, Jeremy's friend committed suicide. Maybe you want to tell us a little about that, and Dr. Sue.
My friend from my school, his name was Elijah. He was one of my homies, man. But he wasn't like a close homie. I was most of like, he was friends with my friend, and then we started being friends. The first time I met him, he used to do drugs, and I was like, at first, you know, you meet somebody, and then you're like, hey, wait, let me not get involved about this, because I'm normally the good person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not going to do drugs. Like, that's not one thing I'm going to do. But then you start to see him do aggressively. One thing I wanted to tell y'all is don't stop. The thing about it is, like, don't stop. Like, pursue to that person, because if you can help them, no matter what. You know, like, people, they're like, they back off, and then they just don't talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, they just back off, and, like, they're like, this is not, I'm not about this life, so I'm going to just leave him. If you leave him, he's going to keep doing it, and it gets worse, and then it gets worse, and then it gets worse, and then it gets more worse, and then he commits suicide. Something like that. So yeah, the first time I met him, he did drugs, and we would hang out. We would hang out because my friend would bring him to, you know, to hang out in school and whatever, and we would be just chilled. I went for a couple movies with them, you know, because I would go for a movie with my friend and he would be there. So I used to do drugs. He was like, Jay, we should do drugs together. I was like, nah, man, you know, I'm a pastor's kid, so I'm going to keep it 100. I ain't about to do this with you, man.
I'm going to keep it.
I'm not about to do this with you.
I'm going to keep it.
I don't do no drugs, man. That's not me. And so
But
he
you
was
see,
like...
but you see, the point is that he really tried to get Jeremy to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because people who drink want you to drink. People who smoke want you to smoke. People who watch porn want you to. People who do whatever they do, they want you to do it.
Yeah, you
So
see,
he tried to pull you.
The thing about it is like people only want to pull you to things that they're used to. So like if you do drugs, he wants you to do drugs just because he does drugs, not because it's the right thing. Just because he does drugs and just because he's used to it and doesn't have somebody to lean on and something like that. So you would pull me into it, and I was like, nah, man, like I feel like you need to stop, you know, because it started with just small like marijuana, and he just stopped there, and then it got worse and worse and worse. I was like, bro, I don't think it's a good thing. You should stop. And then, like, a couple months go by, like 4 or 5 months go by, and at the time, you know, I was just with the other homie, chilling with the other homie. And that's one of the things I do kind of regret, because I wasn't there for him as much as I wish I was. You know what I mean? So they called me. Then my homie called me, and he told me, "Hey, bro, Elijah committed suicide, died of an overdose and OD, and he did way too many drugs, and he's dead now." So I was like, man, like I didn't even tell like Pastor Peter, the pastor in Atlanta. I didn't even tell him. Like I was just like, you know what? I don't know how to deal with this, so I'm just gonna call my mom, call my dad. And one of the things is, now that caused the depression in my life, because I was like, am I doing the right thing? I started questioning myself, like, am I really a good person from inside? And
He started to feel bad
yeah.
that he didn't help his friend.
Yeah.
So he started to feel, man, I should have insisted, I should have pushed more, you know, because he kept telling him to stop taking drugs, but he felt like he didn't maybe push him enough. So he felt bad because the guy overdosed and died. So Jay was at such a low point, and I kept telling him, you know, it's not your fault. You tried to tell him. So we are saying that there are kids who are going to that extent.
Yeah.
And you know, those drugs actually bring depression, isn't it?
Yes, and that's why it's not a good solution to use drugs to deal with your depression. Because we also have drug, and for those that take alcohol, induced depression.
Wow.
That your mind, because we say drugs will like hype you, and that's becomes your attraction. But along the way, as you continuously use them, they slow the central nervous system. So the thinking goes down, your reasoning goes down, your moods start going down, the dopamines and the happy hormones start decreasing over time. And so you lose interest in life. It could have begun from peer pressure, especially for the young ones, and then they start using drugs, but along the way, you find them depressed. And once they reach their dead end, just like Jeremy's friend, they take their own lives. And they know how to do it so easily. They just do an overdose.
And
So
just
the
take their
brain
own
shuts
lives.
down.
Yeah.
Until your mind changes, your life will never change.
Did you know that your thoughts hold the master key to the life that you desire? Just think about it. If you want to change your life, you must change the way you think. Did you also know that experience is not the best teacher, but wisdom is?
I am so excited to be bringing to you my latest book. I'm calling it Think on These Things.
In his new book, Bishop Allen has put together a collection of power thoughts, insights, perspectives, and practical applicable wisdom drawn from his exciting years of experience. Inside the book, you will find deep insights on the power of purpose, integrity, self-leadership, excellence, the power of the mind, among others.
Truth is a universal commodity. Wherever it is applied, it produces the same results.